早上好 Good morning, everyone. It's 8 o'clock local time here. I did this tour a couple of days ago, and here I am again in this village. Let's start from here. About 5 minutes ago, I just dropped off my kids. Here is the school. I haven't started from here for doing this tour. This is a local eatery. Some tables. Breakfast items. 可以看一下吗？这都是你们这个特色呀。Sticky rice cakes.
抖音上看得到不啦？
这不是抖音。那边还有。
还有这个青菜饼、韭菜饼、青菜豆腐、韭菜豆腐。跟他说了，好像是这里的主特产了。
Oily pancakes on griddle. This one has filling. This one doesn't. It's just a bland sticky rice cake. But it's something that I can have every day. I even prefer this bland sticky rice cake to the oily pancake, as it is just healthier, and a sticky rice is something that you can really, for me, I can really eat every day. There's another kind of cake. This one. This one people eat at room temperature. Different from the oily pancake. This one you can just eat as it is cold. There are fillings, 2 different flavors, sweet and savory. How much are the pancakes? How many days a week do you go to school? Do they go to school? 5 days, Joe. It is a Friday here. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, for 2 days, kids will have fun. Of course, I hope that they have fun also at school. Okay. In this eatery, I just showed you 3 popular items for people to eat. And if you are a tourist, probably you will be taken or recommended to come here to sample the 3 snack items in this small village. There are some tables, people can sit down and they eat noodles, dumplings with soup for breakfast, also for lunch and dinner. What hours do they go to school? Okay, from 8 o'clock now, and they will finish school by 4:30. 4:30. Well, the price of the oily pancake or other items, they are approximately 2 yuan to 3 yuan, 2 yuan to 3 yuan each cake. But for a bowl of noodles, it probably costs about 10 yuan to 15 yuan, depending on what ingredients. I mean, because, they have noodles, but they can also request the garnished food on top of the noodles. For that, you pay different prices for. If the garnish is made of meat, like a piece of pork rib, it costs more. If it is only just some vegetables like bok choy, tofu, etc., cheaper. Yeah, low price. Yes, in Shanghai nowadays, if you buy a cup of, if you buy a bowl of noodle at a local eatery, actually, to be honest, it's very difficult nowadays to find a local eatery in Shanghai, so-called local eatery, because all those restaurants are now in the malls and or in the commercialized districts. It's getting harder to find the, what I mean, the local eateries in Shanghai. Nowadays in Shanghai, if you buy a bowl of noodles in a mall, it costs about 30 yuan, 25 yuan, 30 yuan, which is almost double the price. Okay, here you can see just now a boy entering the school. Most kids are in the school now, as it is already after 8 o'clock. Actually, about 2 weeks ago, they finished the school at 5:30. But you have to consider that it is a winter day. The day is shorter, and more than a week ago, they started to let the kids go at 4:30, which is better for parents to pick them up. Otherwise, it would be too dark, more dangerous. And parents here. Is this the rainy season there? Yes, Joe, it's wet. I mean, in the past autumn, which was very dry, we saw a lot of sun. And now, throughout the winter, most of the time, you don't get to see the sun a lot. Very wet, and a drizzle and rain, and sometimes snow. Wet, basically. Will kids be in trouble for being late to school? Yes, I think so. I mean, if you are late for school, of course, your teachers, especially your class teacher, your class head teacher won't be very happy. And you may get a scolding. In China, yes, a lot of scolding. At home, in school, or somewhere else. A lot of scolding. Actually, this word, when Chinese people learn English, the equivalent Chinese word they find in a dictionary when they, get, based on their Chinese notion, is actually curse. Because the character that we use is ma. Well, ma, if you really check literally on an English dictionary, it's actually curse. All right, but actually it is your scolding. Scold. Well, yesterday when I did the food tour, someone asked me about if there's heating in school, in the classroom. Actually, there isn't. There isn't that. And there isn't that in Shanghai schools. They don't have the heating for the classrooms. There's a heating only in the rooms in the kindergarten. For kindergarteners, their rooms are air conditioned. Why don't they bring in portable heaters to classrooms? Portable heaters. What kind of a heater? I mean, the portable heater, what kind of a, more specifically, Joe? They don't do that. Actually, my wife told me that when she was a little girl, a lot of kids went to school with the local original heater in a basket made of bamboo. Something actually I showed you on my other tours people use here, and they used it to bring that into school. But now they don't do it anymore. Okay, you can see some posters on the wall outside of the school. because this is a tour that I take you to see a village, maybe in more details. We just do it maybe in slow motion now and check more details here. The posters. Okay, let's have a look one by one. The core values of socialism. For states, it is prosperity, democracy, civility, and harmony. For society, it is freedom, equality, justice, and the rule of law. And the last line, for the civilians, it is patriotism, enterprise, integrity, and friendliness. Okay, the next one. The next one, you can see a picture. An old, respected man is taking a bow from a boy. So in this case, it is here, respect. Respect is a kind of a virtue. This is obviously based on Chinese Confucianism. There's a structure of seniority, a hierarchy. This is something more folk culture. The 24 solar terms based on Chinese lunar calendar. The solar terms. This is the first one of the year that falls in the Spring Festival, Chinese New Year. There are 24. A year in China is divided into 24 terms. And where we are now, we are here, this one. The two black Chinese characters stand for heavy snow. We are in the term of heavy snow. And that day just happened 3 days ago, heavy snow. And we have 3 more before this year ends. This one, Dongzhi. Dongzhi is the most important day in China for people. One of the 2 most important, not the most important, one of the 2 most important days for Chinese people to respect the ancestors, for the dead. The second last, and the last. Kids are making snowmen. All right. Where's the one now? Let me bring you back to where we are now. Here, this one. Heavy snow. There are 3 more before this year finishes. Okay. This one encourages kids to study more, read more books, and learn more about the local culture. And here's another one. This one is again Confucius loyalty, Chinese virtual loyalty. It says Chinese history is over 5,000 years, throughout which a lot of patriotic heroes welled up, etc., etc. Okay, here is another important value based on Confucianism. 是的，你刚去学校啊？ This one is filial piety. Benevolence and allegiance. Someone talked to you? Yes, a school kid. Actually, I didn't know him. He just talked to me in passing. This is a this is another food shop. 没关系啊，老板娘. They sell pretty much the same things that I showed you in the beginning of this tour. But we actually often come here to buy. And it's not a restaurant because there are no tables for diners. People just come here to buy those cakes. People often wonder what local people do for a living. First of all, you don't get to see a lot of the local registered people because they are migrant workers. They now live and work in bigger towns and cities. Well, for the people who still live here, they usually attend their farms. They live off the land. And a part of it is just for self-sufficiency. Not really enough for them to make a good profit, but they can make some profits. They can grow some crops, like cash crops, and they can make some money. Well, the older people, they are also provided for by their children who work as migrant workers across China, but mostly in this area of China. Of course, you can see also some relatively young people, and they may work in the local offices. And just now I passed, for example, a bank, a Chinese rural bank, and there a post office in green, and here a bank, and there is the local office, the government for this village. A lot of red writings, banners, slogans. What is SXRCB on the bank sign? It's a acronym. The acronym of the bank. SX stands for Shexian, which is the name of this county. And R stands for rural. C stands for commercial. B stands for bank. Shexian, rural commercial bank. All right, I think there's a loudspeaker here. Let me have a look. Oh, there's one here. This is one of the loudspeakers, and there are a lot more. Usually in the morning and in late afternoon, people get to hear the news reports and some announcements and also some songs played out of those loudspeakers. And this is a corner for the moral models from workers. 道德模范 means moral models. These are all the models for people to learn from. Some pretty ladies. Okay, here is something created to promote the tourism in this village. This is the main sign. There are 5 big characters on it. Shenan 第一村 in Chinese. It means the number 1 village in southern Shexian County. If you have been to Shanghai area, you may have thought about or even been to the most famous, or let's say maybe, yeah, quote unquote, the most famous water village that is called Zhouzhuang. And they have also the promotion slogan that says the number 1 water village in China. Actually, we get to see a lot of number 1 signs here in China, a lot of number 1, and they try to create a number 1 in their notion. It's a little bit bad for the language because you could have just expressed it in a more poetic and a better way, but people just abuse it with number 1 too many. Okay, here is the tourist map of Changxi Scenic Area, and Changxi is the name of this village. Here you get to see how it is spelled. This is the tourist route. And the government, I just walked past the government. There is a wooden trellis bridge that I'm going to show you in a minute. We're now here. There's a river right beside me. There is the river. There's the river. I'll show you the river. Oh, the COVID rules changed in China? Yes, Joe, that's right. Maybe a week ago, there was a straw in the wind suggesting the change, but you couldn't tell until days later, as more and more news reports and media coverage reinforced that trend. And now I can say that yes, indeed, a lot of cities in China, especially the big cities, have seen obvious relaxation of restrictions. That is true, and this is what I can say so far. But there are still some exceptions here and there. It is just something in general, but as to the executions by each local offices, there are still exceptions. So I would say you still have to wait and see. And well, but anyway, it still sounds good, but we have to wait and see. This is a memorial archway. So be more specific here in this village. The changes that we have seen is actually a week ago when there was, some reports suggesting the change. In this village, people still got the COVID test every day. Well, 2 days ago, they stopped the COVID test, and they also, in the same time, removed the spot where there was usually a janitor who actually stopped every visitor for their, health code, track codes, etc. But that was removed 2 days ago. And we haven't taken any COVID test in the past 2 days. This is the change in this village, which came later than some cities in China by a few days. Because in Shanghai and Guangzhou and Beijing, there were some measures already taken to relax the COVID regulations before that. It has all happened just in a matter of a few days. Okay, before I move on, let me show you this memorial archway. This one is tucked away from the street. It's actually located right beside the street, but look, it's very hidden, very tucked away, not easy for you to notice. And this is a memorial archway that was built originally in Qing Dynasty. Here is a local fellow carrying a heater basket, moving around. Yeah, this is a common scene you get to see in this part of China, the heater basket. This is the heater basket I talked about. My wife said when she was a schoolgirl, a lot of kids took this to school. Just to think about it, I think it is quite an interesting picture to imagine. Maybe foreign tourists can come here soon. Hopefully, yes. I think, yeah, it looks like that. That would be great for our country and for the world to go back to normalcy. This one was built in Qing Dynasty, and there you can see two golden characters which stand for the imperial edict. Of course, everything came down as an imperial edict that hasn't changed throughout the history here. And well, there are also two lightly carved characters on a green piece of flagstone. The two characters here stand for chastity. It's a kind of a norm of allegiance or loyalty on women based on Chinese traditional culture, or more specifically, Confucianism. You see that in dynastic China, which finally ended in the year 1911, women, they got bound feet from an early age, and then they were put in an arranged marriage. When they were in the husband's home, they had to be very compliant, obedient, and dutiful to their husband and also to the husband's family. Well, even after the marriage, let's say in case the husband died prematurely, the woman still had to stay. There was no chance for them to go out or remarry. That never happened. So probably the monument we just saw was built by a wealthy family, a local wealthy family. What usually happened is they donated the money to the royalty, and the royalty endorsed the building of a monument for the family to honor, for example, some lofty characteristics of the family. In this case, the lady was lucky enough to have a monument built for her, although you actually don't get to see the lady's full name. There's only the last name of the lady that you can see. And in this case, the last name is actually the family name. We don't know what this lady exactly was, as there was no first name given there. Well, this is very common practice in China. If you have noted that in China, a lot of famous structures and ancient buildings, um, you don't know who built them. You don't know who designed them, because it is supposed to be the old owner that belongs to the emperor, to the power. Here is the wooden trellis bridge. What year did the arranged marriage tradition go away there? Just like the Banfi tradition, I would say roughly you can say that after 1911, with the fall of the Qing dynasty, the last dynastic period of China, a lot of traditions just started to die off. Mm, Probably not immediately. It took a while. But anyway, in the year 1912, China was a republic. China entered the stage of a Republic of China. Uh, I think that this is when it started to change. But it kind of still exists because look, for one individual, your habits definitely have influenced you. While for a state, is the same thing. For a nation that lived in a longest period of dynastic ruling, which is China over 2,000, even more than that if you put it not as a unified country, as a civilization, even more than 2,000 years. Yes, people even nowadays can't just get away with all those die-hard traditions. I mean, the arranged marriage doesn't really exist if you talk about how it was in dynastic China, but there's still something like this because people are very influenced by your parents and by your family in a marriage. Not much independent decisions for you to make. A lot of bounds, a lot of bounds and bonds that you get from your families and people above you. I'm in southeast Anhui province, which is the southeast of China, and Huangshan city is very close to Zhejiang province, the most affluent province of China. Not my province, it's the next province. It's Zhejiang province. It's a province that located between this province and Shanghai in southeastern China. And I'm in the southeast border of this province. I can drive here to Hangzhou in 2 hours, and to Shanghai another 2 to 3 hours. Can we walk across the bridge? Look, this is a funny bridge. No handrails and so narrow. They put this up after summer. That means in summer you don't get to see this because our area is in monsoon tropical belt, and every summer there's a lot of rainfall brought here. In every summer, a lot of typhoons and tropical storms, so these can bring a lot of rain. In summer, you don't get to see this bridge as it's too dangerous for the people walking on it. But after summer, it appears again. Actually, I can do the heights very well. I prefer not to walk now. Maybe Another day when it is dry on the surface, I will try. I think I still need a lot of practice here to conquer the fear. Let's take a close look. It's about 1 meter wide, really narrow. A lady is washing something. Geographically, I'm still in the eastern, more developed part of China. You know, China is a huge country. In Chinese textbook for geography, it says China is the third largest country in the world after Russia and Canada. But I have also read that sometimes some geography books put China in the fourth place because, there are different ways to measure. What I mean here is if you also count in the lakes as part of the territory, probably the United States is number 3. Yeah, there's part of the Great Lakes that belongs to the United States. And if you count this in, the United States is bigger than China by a small margin. If not, China is number 3. This is what I know. Yeah, China is a huge country, and but the developed part of China is mainly in the east, along the coast. Well, in this sense, I don't call this place the hinterland, but it is indeed a very tucked away small village in the eastern part of China. I would call some provinces located in the central part of China, for instance, the northern Anhui province, Henan province, Shanxi province, Shanxi province, all those provinces are the hinterland of China. Well, there are still remote regions of China. So in my mind, when you say remote regions of China, I think about those provinces that are located further into the land of the continent. For example, the southwestern China, the northwestern China, those are the provinces such as Yunnan, Guizhou, Sichuan, Qinghai, Tibet, Inner Mongolia, Uyghur Autonomous Region, Ningxia Autonomous Region, etc. Thank you, Kevin. And I haven't talked about another part of China, that is the northeastern China. Northeastern China sees 3 major provinces, and one borders with North Korea. The other borders with Russia. Well, there's another one, the third one, that is located in between the 2 provinces I mentioned. There are 3 major provinces, and that area is really cold. The coldest region of China, actually. And the people there, we know that they get their heating in the room during winter with something that you find it similar here. It is actually adobe kitchen stove, but it's connected with a bed where they eat and live on, actually. Here, people, they don't do that. They have the adobe kitchen stove, but that's just for cooking and or for maybe replenishing your basket heaters. That's it. But in northern China, they have a bed that is built in connection with their adobe stove. Therefore, you can get more heat and pretty constant heat from the stove. That is important for them to survive in the winter. That is northeastern China. That bed, Joe, that bed is actually, yeah, there's a structure under the bed. And it's basically made of bricks and mud, adobe bed. And there's also cavity in it. Well, the cavity part is usually the channels for the smoke to pass through. Yeah, and you get the heat from the stove, and there's a smoke in it. It gives a heat to your bed. And finally, those smoke will be exhausted by a chimney. So the end of this entire structure is a chimney. This is how it works. Okay, next I'm going to show you some old trees in this village. We're going to enter a sub-village in this village area. Because we passed the government of this village, you can call this place the village seat. There are also some commercial facilities like the banks, post offices, restaurants, but very basic though. Here is one of the two old camphor trees. There are two. These two trees have been here for over 800 years. Camphor tree. Individuous trees. Evergreen throughout all 4 seasons. It's quite big. As I measure, it takes about 4 adults to spread their arms to go a circle around the trunk. There's the other one. There are 2 trees here. And the name for these 2 trees here is a dragon and phoenix camphor trees. Dragon is the exclusive symbol of an emperor, the power. Well, the other tree is a phoenix. That stands for the empress. This is a big gutter. Let me call it, yeah, the gutter. To let the water in the village come out. And it finally empties into the main river over there. Actually, 2 years ago, in the year 2020, there was a flooding, a very severe flooding. According to the history, the one that happened 2 years ago was the most severe flooding. You can see those buildings, the first floor, almost 2/3, the height of the first floor was flooded in water. Here, well, the river is over there. What time of year would that flood? In summer, Joe, in summer. I said in summer, there are tropical storms and occasionally typhoons affecting our region, including Shanghai. Now we are entering this sub-village. There are all those dwellings. black and white Anhui School of Chinese Architecture. There's a temple here. The name of this temple is the Temple of Ardent Allegiance. I don't make it up. This is actually the name. And the Ardent Allegiance is the literal translation of the temple. But in nature, this temple is actually a city god temple. But in this case, a village god's temple. There's a god enshrined in the temple, accompanied by some godlings. And the archetype of that god was actually a local man who lived in history of this village area. I think it will be interesting for me to just talk about the importance of this temple again and what this man did and why people actually honored him so much. And I will take you there to have a close look at the Chinese introduction. Because it's really telling. This is the Chinese introduction, and if you want, you can take a picture for you to learn Chinese characters. And look, this is the name of the man, Wang Hua, and he lived a long time ago, 586 to 649, in the end of Sui dynasty, and at the beginning of Tang dynasty. Long time ago. And guess what this man did? In the end of the previous dynasty, Sui dynasty, he started as a rebel against the regime. Then with the fall of the dynasty, he became a local power. Well, soon after that, the next dynasty, Tang dynasty, a lot of people, Chinese people, consider the Tang dynasty as the most prosperous and confident dynasty in China's feudal history, because the Tang dynasty soon stabilized, and that man got into trouble, as more and more doubt was cast on him for his power and influence in this village area. And eventually, this man took a drastic measure that was to kill 8 out of his 9 sons, as a way that is recorded by the local accounts to show allegiance to the emperor in Tang dynasty. And it is for that the local people of later generations built this temple to enshrine him. And there is the name of the temple painted on the main plaque, wooden plaque, hanging in the middle of the temple under the roof. It says the Temple of Ardent Allegiance, and there's construction going on there. Okay. By the way, there's a ginkgo tree behind. Very robust tree, as there are still many leaves on it. This is a deciduous tree. Leaves are turning very yellow, and eventually, when the temperature is lower, you will see no leaves on it. And also here at this angle, you get to see the main feature of the Anhui architecture. Black and white is the general color pattern you see. Well, the detail here you see is this kind of a gable. Local people call this a horse head gable. You may call this in English the step gable. It is said that this design, the horse head gable, was created to prevent the fires from spreading in buildings. Okay, there is an alleyway. Let me take you into this alleyway. And just now I got two telecommunication phone calls. I mean, those were blind calls, just to promote their product something. There are a lot of those. Oh, now I'm in the alleyway. Some local people are hanging here. I'm standing in front of an old structure. This originally was built as an ancestral temple. There's a quote of Chairman Mao painted on the wall in black.来了吗？哦，在这儿。Let me go inside. 没事的，这不是抖音。Oh, my wife is here waiting for me.
支付宝收款3.5元。
This is the counter. Maybe let's stay here for a few minutes to see how they ply their trade. We know them. And their daughter, sometimes on weekends, comes to my home to play with my children and learn English with us. Tofu. Oh, what is a heater basket? I will show you a heater basket. I'm pretty sure in a colder day, you will see how those old people sitting over there use a heater basket. But now I don't see anyone because it is not cold enough, I guess. Miscellaneous items on the shelf. Oreo cookies, yes. All right, let's play a guessing game. What is this? Snacks for children. Yes, Barry, exactly. Children like those. This is a piece of like pickled chicken egg in a vacuumized package. No shell. It's already shelled. You can touch the elasticity on the surface of the egg. A spicy duck leg. Spicy chicken neck. There's a piece of chicken neck in it. Spicy one. Chewing gums. All kinds of vegetables. This is a grocery, one of the two groceries located in this sub-village. I think I walked past one 5 minutes ago, and this shop has been here for over 30 years. The owner man told me he started this shop when he was a youngster. Eggplants, the local eggplants. You know what? Actually, when I'm filming, every time when people, local people, try to guess what I'm doing, they always say I'm filming on Douyin. They automatically think of Douyin as the only streaming platform or the platform for all kinds of videos. But actually, I personally, I never watch Douyin. I never use Douyin, almost never. And there's no Douyin application on my phone. I once had it, and I checked some videos that I was interested in for some topics, but that's it. I later just removed it from my phone. Mushrooms. Lotus roots. Joe, these people are not waiting for something. They are just hanging around. They are shooting the breeze here with each other. They are chilling out, in other words. Yeah. And sometimes, because people automatically think of Douyin when I film, and they sometimes get very nervous, especially the business owners. I got to know that people were nervous because they thought that a lot of videos filmed on Douyin could be taken by people on the platform who are those, for example, the officials in charge of, for example, the in charge of the businesses, the hygiene or the certification or the regulations, all kinds of regulations of the market. They fear that those people, upon watching, their businesses, may find their troubles, may put them in place, may give them a fine or ticket, something. I find it quite amazing to think. People, they think that the office is just omnipotent, and they really have that kind of a fear of of the power ahead. But on the other hand, that is also very telling in that a lot of business owners, maybe I guess a lot of them are not quite licensed, and a lot of them are not selling something that is 100% safe. Otherwise, I can't get my head around.
那个都洗好网上，
啊？
那个都洗给你好网。
My wife doesn't like Douyin, Joe. She doesn't like it. Dogs have owners. Most dogs have owners. They have home, and they will eventually find their food and find their place to sleep at night in their owner's home. But there are also a lot of dogs that just roam around, and some are even homeless. Well, the thing is, actually, some homeless dogs are here. Every once in a while, get taken away by people who are called in to take the homeless dogs. Actually, they come here not just to take, they buy those homeless dogs. I even heard that sometimes when the dog is homeless, for instance, maybe the owner family isn't here for a few weeks and months because they are migrant workers. Sometimes some migrant workers, they really have moved to another town in the city and kind of settled there. But some migrant workers, they are more migrants. I mean, they just go out, leave their hometown for a few weeks or months to apply a business there, to work for a project, something. In that case, those dogs become very pitiful as they don't have an owner. They just roam around, and eventually some people, like the neighbors living around the area who know the condition of the dog, they actually would initiate to call in the dog taker to sell the dogs to those people. This is the public space for the local people, and there's a stage. People can come here to watch a show, something, and there's also an ancestral temple. This is the best preserved ancestral temple in this village, although it was actually renovated in the year 2018. And that renovation project was funded by the World Bank. All right, before we finish, have a look. This is again number 1. You read it from right to left. It says, number 1, family of nobility. Number 1, noble family. This plaque or this title was obviously given by an emperor. And in this case, the emperor was the first founding father, the first emperor, the founding father of a Ming dynasty. In rural China, in this part of rural China, people, they like to talk about the greatness of the founding emperor of Ming dynasty. Well, in Beijing area and other places in China, people respect the greatness of Qing dynasty emperors more. Simply, I guess, because the first emperor, Ming dynasty, actually ever passed this area and stayed here, and he left a lot of, stories that have been circulated by people of generations around here. That's it. Well, in Beijing area, it's simply because Beijing was the capital throughout the entire Qing dynasty. Okay, before we really finish, let me push in to just to give you a quick look at the inside of the ancestral temple. Now it's a tourist attraction, and you can see this is the entrance gate, and there are two big stone ornaments that were originally used to fasten the horses, but later it became more and more embellished with also cultural significance. And here is the door in the middle, but usually the door in the middle in old days was not really for everyday use. Only important, prominent visitors, when they visited, they got to walk through the main entrance. Here is the side entrance, the side door, and there's the space here, right in the middle. Ancestral temple. Ceremonies were held here by people of the family to honor their ancestors, and also sometimes when a member of the family committed a crime or misdemeanor, he got punished here. The code of the family conducts was observed in this kind of a place. All right, maybe in my future tours, I'm going to take you into more details, maybe in this temple, and I think that's it for the tour now. And thank you very much, everyone. Why does it read right to left? This is a good question, and maybe it has something to do with the convenience of writing. Let's keep this for it now, and let me close the door back out and say goodbye to you, everyone. Oh, what is my Chinese name, Joe? My Chinese name is 3 characters. Gu is my family name. Gu is spelled G-U. And my first name is Xiaohui, spelled Xiaohui in Chinese pinyin. Gu Xiaohui. This is my name. Thank you for asking. And that's pretty much for today, everyone. See you next time on my other tours. By the way, I'm going to do the first quick fighting tour tomorrow in the afternoon. Yes, I think, yeah, local time. And actually, a lot of people haven't realized that quick culture is a very good window to look into Chinese people's history. Not just the ancient history, maybe more of the near-modern history. And also how people, for example, in rural China, the farmers live. And also how people in cities, those idle class people. I mean, I'm talking about the idle class people in a city like Shanghai and other big cities in China in near modern history, and even now, how they, lived and worked around the crickets. It has a lot of things for you to see and think about. All right, thank you very much, and Robert, for your tipping, and everyone. See you next time. Yes, Joe, that's the spelling. That's right. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, take care. Bye for now. 再见，再见。